Hi there, my name's Ed. I'm one of the large animal vets at Thrums, and today I'm recording a video diary just to give you all a wee insight as to what a day in the life of a large animal vet looks like. So I tend to start my day just by getting a cup of coffee and catching up on any emails and reports that I didn't get a chance to attend to last night, just to make sure I'm all up to date before I head out on my rounds and get going. So I'm going to get going on that, and then I'm going to head down to work and see what's in store for the rest of the day. So that's me just arrived at work. It's pretty early still, but just under the current restrictions at the moment, we're trying our best to make sure that the minimum number of people are in the building as possible. So by arriving early, that means that I can restock my car, get everything that I need for the day, and not really come into contact with anyone and keep everyone as safe as possible. That's my car restocked. I've got all the medicines that I need for the day, got all the kit that I need. Flynn's had a little walk, so we're all good. First job for the day is a routine inspection for insurance for the bull, and then we've got a full fertility analysis on another bull to do as well. So this is the young Charolais bull I'm inspecting for insurance purposes just before he heads off to his new home. So he's had a full clinical exam and an examination of his reproductive organs as well. I'm glad to report everything's grand and he's looking well. Given the current restrictions and just how restricted everyone's movements are, I appreciate just how lucky I am to be a large animal vet and get to spend a good chunk of my time driving around the countryside, which at this particular time of year looks absolutely stunning. It's a pleasure just to be driving around and see the fantastic job all our farmers are doing in terms of producing food for everyone, but also just keeping this environment looking absolutely incredible. So this is Hunter, the hairy Highlander. Today I'm carrying out a full fertility analysis on him, just based on the owner's concerns that maybe he wasn't working as well as he should be in advance of him getting turned out with the cows next week. For a full fertility analysis of a bull, we start with a detailed physical examination, and we then follow that up by collecting a small sample of semen, which we assess on farm immediately post-collection for motility or the degree of active swimmers. And we then follow that up with a more detailed analysis again back at the lab in the practice for a number of abnormalities present. So that's me back at the practice, and I've had a good look at that sample that we got from the bull. Unfortunately, he has failed to pass the criteria for full fertility, which is obviously a really disappointing result. Maybe not the one that the farmer was hoping for, but it really does sort of underline the importance of why we do these things. Had that bull been sort of turned out to do work in the next week or so, then the results probably could have been fairly disastrous in terms of the number of cows he got in calf. So whilst, yeah, it's a disappointing result, it's much better to know these things now and to be able to put things in place to make sure that we don't get problems later on down the line. Right, that's us just heading out on our afternoon calls. First call this afternoon is to go and get some blood samples for some calves for a disease called BVD, which is a viral disease of cows that causes a variety of issues, but Scotland is well on its way to eradicating. So we're heading along, just 5 calves to blood sample, which should hopefully be a fairly straightforward job. Every breeding herd in Scotland is required to test for BVD on a regular basis, just to make sure that there's been no disease incursion and that Scotland can move towards being totally eradicated of BVD. For most people, that's just blood sampling, which we get from the tail vein of a cow, a small selection of calves every year. Just been called to another farm. Unfortunately, they've been getting a few more lambs than they would like with a nasty disease called joint ill, which is a bit of infection in the joints. So what we're going to do is try and pinpoint what's going on, get some treatment on board, and take some samples and try and find out what's going on and see if we can get on top of things for them. Right folks, that's me sorted, everything tidied up, wrapped up for the day. It's about 5:30 on a Friday, so headed home for a shower and a beer. Thanks very much for watching, hopefully you found it interesting, and I'll catch you all soon. Cheers, bye.